The question for both of you, 50 first, why this project, why now?
Well, we waited until after the results of the trial to release the project, but I started like almost 5 months before I was able to find Alex, and finding an Emmy Award-winning showrunner and director is detrimental to the project being really well put together. So, you know, they should expect it to perform like Reggie Jackson's did.
Thank you. Yeah, I think why it's coming out now is we wanted to wait, you know, to get through all of the legal proceedings, the criminal trial, and it spans, it's, you know, four parts, and it spans over 30 years of, you know, pop culture, his life. So it took some time, to say the least, to put all of this together.
50 Cent is dominating headlines once again, but this time, it's far more than entertainment drama. His explosive documentary has dropped a series of jaw-dropping allegations about Diddy that have left fans and insiders stunned. Even more shocking, 50 insists what the public has seen so far is only the surface. He claims critical details were intentionally left out, and if those missing pieces come to light, they could completely reshape the story and send shockwaves through the entire music industry. One thing is clear, this isn't over, and what's coming next may change everything.
Your favorite villain? I kind of like Diddy. When people say I'm a troll, I say, I don't know why you're saying I'm trolling people. I'm doing what...
In a recent interview, comedian TK Kirkland sheds new light on the long-standing tension between 50 Cent and Diddy. According to Kirkland, Diddy's decision to date 50 Cent's baby mother was no coincidence. It was a calculated move. Kirkland argues this crossed an unspoken line that any man understands, a boundary of respect and loyalty. With Diddy's immense fame, wealth, and global influence, he had endless options. Yet he chose someone deeply connected to 50 Cent's past, a choice Kirkland believes was intentional, and one that only added fuel to an already volatile feud.
Now, I just want to say this. People are talking about how, you know, 50's attacking him and he's being petty. Now, keep in mind, out of all the women in the world that Diddy could have gotten with, he chose 50 Cent's baby mother.
It's a lot of variables to this particular question. Because I talk to a lot of people, older, younger, even my daughter, who's 22, she didn't understand it. So people give their opinion based on what they've experienced and their environment, people they've been around. So to the people that understand boundaries and respect, I always tell men you should never date another man's girl if you're not aware of it. If you know it, then it's wrong. But if you're aware of it, it's like basketball players that we talked about this before. Football players who date the same women.
Yeah.
And won't go outside the box.
Yeah, and I've never done that.
I've never
in
done
my
it.
life, I can honestly say at 52 years old, I have never dated someone.
According to Kirkland, this was no innocent mistake. It was a calculated act of disrespect. The move raises a deeper question. What does it reveal about Diddy's sense of loyalty and personal boundaries? As 50 Cent's documentary continues to peel back the layers behind this alleged betrayal, each revelation leaves the public more stunned than the last, and wondering how much more is still being kept in the shadows.
Stunned. That I knew was an ex of a friend of mine.
Right. I've never done
Sometimes
that.
I found out a girl that I'm messing with that also messed with this other dude that I know in the industry, whatever. That's a little different. After the fact. But I would never go into it if that's like was his girl.
It's really the wrong thing to do. I've been presented in my lifetime. Women have come to me and they'll say, oh, you know my ex-husband, or you know my husband that passed. And when I was in my 30s, I leaped and did it. Because I said, if I died and was in a relationship and my baby mom was fine, ain't nobody gonna think of me. They're gonna date the person. So this is just some real shit. As I sit here today, knowing that there's an ocean full of women.
Billions. There are billions of women.
Billions.
Right, and that's the whole thing about Diddy. Diddy's not some nerdy dude who just happened to find some IG model and, oh my God, this is the girl of my dreams. Man, he has access to women all around the planet.
And that's his reputation.
But he went after the baby mother of one of his rivals.
Exactly.
Someone who had been taking shots at him for years.
Absolutely.
On purpose.
And he went after her knowing that they had beef.
Right. And slutted her out.
Slutted out.
Just slutted her out.
Slutted out.
Having a whole basketball team run a train on her.
Totally
and
did. I
just
totally
the whole
agree.
thing, right?
Totally agree.
Right.
But his reputation from when he worked at Uptown, I'll be sure's girlfriend.
Oh, Kim Porter.
Kim Porter.
Right.
That's his reputation.
I'll be sure his baby mother.
Baby mama.
Yeah.
Then Eric Serum, his friend, the one that had his baby, Mia. So he's had a reputation of going after people.
Tupac's ex-girlfriend. He got a baby with her too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my point that I'm making to the men listening, well, if you don't understand this, then you just poorly educated and don't really have common sense. It's a no-no. There's no way I would go after.
In a revealing interview, Gene Deal, a close associate of 50 Cent, openly criticizes the documentary, claiming it used his ideas without giving proper credit. Deal alleges that key elements of the project were based on concepts he had previously pitched, raising serious concerns about creative ownership. He says he worked closely with the producers and played a significant role in shaping the documentary's direction, only to later see his contributions go unacknowledged. These claims cast a spotlight on the project's legitimacy, prompting questions about how much of the documentary is truly original, who controls the narrative, and whether credit should be given where it's due. With 50 Cent's undeniable influence on the project, the criticism carries added weight, intensifying the debate over authorship, transparency, and accountability behind the scenes.
Footage had to be down, the documentary had to be downsized. You understand? I don't really believe that, because a documentary is a documentary. And they could have had 45 minutes, they could have had an hour, to each one of those. You understand? They left out certain things. He said they even left out the one about Sarah Chapman. You understand? And for whatever reason, he probably left out a lot of other different stars too. Situations that they could have spoke about. You understand? I have a problem with the documentary, and I'm just gonna let you know that the reason I have a problem with the documentary is that they know that they took my ideal. You understand? They know that when I came to them, I laid out what they should do and how the documentary should be. You understand? She could say whatever she want to say. I talked to those producers before I even talked to her. They wanted to know what I had, what I was bringing, my pictures, all that stuff like that. And I told them about me, Tim, and Kirk. You understand what I'm saying? And how it would go. They did the same thing. This ain't the first time they stole from me, man. If you look at the Notorious Big, if you watch the Notorious Big, that part about the shoes, I had that in my book. And I was talking to K.O. Copeland. He was one of the writers of that movie. And I told him about when I let Big use my shoes at Soul Train Award. You had this old flunky ass dude, Mike B, get on Angie Martinez's show and talk about, yo, Big, he wore mixed max shoes and he went out there and performed. When you go look at the film, when you go look at Big performing that on that show, ain't nothing mixed match about them shoes. There was $800 Maury's, size 14D, Big World 14E. E means that his shoes is a little wider than mine. He struggled, but he put them on and he went out there and performed. Those was my gators that he had on.
In a candid conversation, Gene Deal claims Diddy has shown a troubling pattern of dating women connected to his rivals, suggesting these relationships may carry a deeper, more personal motive. From alleged involvement with Tupac's former partners to links tied to other high-profile adversaries, Deal believes Diddy has strategically chosen women with direct ties to his enemies. According to him, this goes far beyond coincidence. It raises serious questions about Diddy's intentions and how he uses personal relationships as a tool within larger power dynamics. The key takeaway is unsettling. These relationships may not always be about romance, but about control, shaping narratives, and asserting dominance. 50 Cent's documentary draws a sharp line between Diddy's personal life and his professional conflicts, framing them as two sides of the same strategic playbook.
You understand? they did a little skit trying to disrespect me in the movie. You understand? And they said something about, oh, we got this shit from Big Sexy. He knew they called me Big Sexy, you understand, because I used to play ball with them at the Reebok on Columbus Avenue on Saturday morning. And on my arm, it had Big Sexy. Right there, Mighty. That was my pen name for Felon Magazine. People didn't notice I used to write for Felon Magazine. You understand? And because I was a parole officer writing for Felon Magazine, I named myself Big Sexy. You understand? So now, they go and steal my ideal and what I was writing in my book on the Notorious. Now they did this on this doc. That's what they do, bruh. They don't care, bruh. They did the same thing on the BMF things to my man who just did a book. His name is Alexander Newell out there in Detroit. They call him KK. Him and the brothers used to run around on the west side in the Brewster Project. They from the Brewster Projects. Him and his brother, what's Alex's brother name? Dangerous. They got him played in the movie as the name Dog in that BMF movie. Alex's brother name is Lawrence. I think it's Lawrence. Dangerous. Wasn't playing. When they got him up in the video, going into the game on the BMF thing and killing somebody in front of everybody in the basketball thing, he was that type of dude. Alex used to come to Harlem to see me. He actually took me to him, my man Kevin Thigpen. We all went to Atlantic City. We seen the show Beauty.
Mark Curry recounts unsettling experiences that shed light on Diddy's controlling behavior, particularly within his personal relationships. He describes an incident in which Diddy allegedly angrily confronted a producer simply for speaking with Kim Porter, an episode Curry says revealed an intense sense of possessiveness. According to Curry, this wasn't an isolated moment, but part of a broader pattern, portraying a man who tightly controls and micromanages those around him, especially when it comes to people within his inner circle.
Yo, we had a time. Alex was the man. You know what I'm saying? So now they take his story, all the stuff they just switch around, change it for the BMF thing. That's what they do, bro. They caught me out there. Am I mad at him? I said, everybody, and you hear a guy, yo, why 50 didn't, fight for you to in the movie and the whole thing. Man, he don't supposed to fuck up his money for me. Why should he mess up his money for me? Nah, that was my fault. I shouldn't have told him shit. Or I should have had them sign something. If you do the documentary in this way, you owe me. Because it was my ideal. They can't tell me they had that ideal because they didn't know they had Tim. They didn't know they had Kirk. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't know that because they came to me first. So that's what they do, bro. That documentary, and if 50 do another one, and I heard he's gonna put it on YouTube or do whatever he's gonna do, Puff ain't gonna have nothing to do with that. Puff ain't gonna have nothing to do to try to stop that because he can't. Because if he could stop it, it would have been stopped. You know why he can't stop it? Because Puff know people right there at Netflix. Don't think he don't. And I don't know if this guy still worked for them, but he was part of the Flavor Unit, Shakim. He was part of the Flavor Unit. He was good friends. He was cool with Puff and them. Flavor Unit and them, Queen Latifah and them, they was cool with Puff. If Puff would have sent the cease and desist over there and they could do it and he had the power and they wasn't right, they would have been done it. You see it's still rolling, right? It's still going on, right? He ain't got that power no more.
Curry suggests this behavior isn't rooted in love, it's rooted in power. The question then becomes, does Diddy's need for control stop at personal relationships, or does it extend into his business dealings as well? According to 50 Cent's documentary, That same obsessive drive for control appears to reach far beyond Diddy's private life, potentially shaping decisions across his entire business empire and redefining how power operates behind the scenes.
And you carry yourself like a grown man. He doesn't carry himself like a friend, you know?
So you're not surprised when you hear Cassie say that, Diddy, he used to hit her and she had to cover up her bruises with makeup. You're not surprised when you hear that. Because I interviewed Gene Deal, and he wasn't around Bad Boy when Cassie was around, but he told me that, he did the same thing to Kim Porter.
Or you could take it before then, and then you can remember when Misa was dating, Eric Sermon from EPMD? And that was her childhood boyfriend, like coming up. They was the, lovey-dovey couple. And it was back then. He used to, do that with Misa. So, one thing I always say is, as a man and as anyone in a relationship, we often go through these kind of things. So I've seen it in friends. I've seen it in him. I've seen fights. I've seen all kinds. I've seen fights between, where he have an argument, fight with a female, whatever it may be. I've seen it with my own friends. But sometimes you say, we all go through things, but once you have a sign of doing it over and over and over again, that's when it becomes a problem. You be like, so every relationship that you get in, you're violent in them. So you say, I don't have to wait to see what he would, I was around when Cassie was there. I knew Kim Porter before I knew Puff. I met Misa, but it was a history. When you have a history of the same thing, man, it becomes a problem. Something you do once or twice, you get over. First, you're not supposed to put your hands on a woman's way I was raised. And the only person that really put their hands on women really is men who have feminine traits. So, it really takes a coward to put his hands on a woman. So, a man is so strong enough, we can just walk away. You can do, there's so many different things that you can do other than get upset, put your hands on a woman. But that comes from a man who's not quite a grown man. It's still a boy, like a bad boy.
And speaking of Kim Porter, because you knew Kim Porter, is it true that Diddy broke her nose?
Bust her nose, man. But it was all, insecurity.
Eugene Deal brings forward deeply troubling allegations regarding Diddy's relationship with Kim Porter, claiming the dynamic was far more volatile than the public ever saw. He recounts a specific incident on a boat where Kim reportedly fell, an event Deal believes was not accidental, but the result of physical harm. While these claims remain allegations, they cast a far darker shadow over a relationship long presented as glamorous in the media. The lingering question is why such accusations were never fully examined, and how their absence from public scrutiny may have shaped perceptions of Diddy over the years. 50 Cent's documentary revisits these claims, bringing them back into focus and forcing viewers to reconsider the narrative they thought they knew.
Unless they can hide unless she did her book on Google Duo and it's in the clouds and they could get somebody to get it out of there, she ain't got no book. It's just a conspiracy. Kim, it was alleged that she did have a book and that her book was about to come out. And she was talking about all the perils, everything that she went through in the music business and with Diddy. All the men that they slept with together, because there were men that they slept with together. There were swinging times that they slept with together. I don't know, man. How do you put your girl through some shit like that? Or how you look at your girl and knowing that she sexing another dude? What kind of demonic mind you have to be that far gone where that shit don't bother you for somebody that you love? But Kim Book was going to express all that. And I hope she did her book on Google Docs, or she did her book somewhere that is floating in the cloud of the internet that somebody could go get it one day. Because any picture you take, anything that you write or say, it's in that internet cloud. It just gotta be, you just gotta go get it. And one day, somebody gonna go get it. But I'm sure that he probably got hold to those tablets or whatever she had, allegedly, and got rid of them. They swimming with the fishes.
Wow, man. So she was about to expose all that in her book, them sleeping with men together.
She was gonna expose everything. I heard it was tell all.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Just curious, right? Did you know that Diddy and Kim had that type of relationship back then in real time?
Yeah. Because I know somebody personally that lives in Atlanta that was swinging with them, and I would never mention his name because he's a good brother and he knows my family down there. You know, he knows my family down there, and I would never, put his name out there like that. He's been in the music business. He done put a lot of groups, A-listed groups out there, especially A-listed groups from Atlanta. So I would never put his name out there like that. But, I got the key, I got the pass key to everything. But then when, they needed more ice or they needed bottles and stuff like that, when I used to go to the door and I knock on the door and they open the door, and then, my nosy, whoa, you see certain shit. Or they sitting in the jacuzzi together, all of them, nothing on. You see shit like that, bro. It is what it is.
Industry veteran Gene Deal further scrutinizes Diddy's reputation within the music business, arguing that his success was built not only on talent, but also on manipulation and exploitation. Deal claims Diddy has a long history of using other people's ideas, ranging from business ventures to creative projects, without giving proper credit. According to him, this behavior reflects a larger pattern of control, where those around Diddy were leveraged to help sustain his empire. The issue, Deal suggests, isn't just Diddy's fame, but how that fame was constructed and at whose expense. How much of Diddy's rise was fueled by questionable ethics rather than fair collaboration? 50 Cent's documentary directly challenges the legacy, forcing viewers to reconsider whether Diddy's success came at the cost of the very people who helped build it.
Every time you saw him, he had a bottle of champagne. They was drinking Moet all of the time. So I guess they don't consider cases of champagne and everybody having their own bottle and drinking out of their own bottle like it was a 40 ounce. I guess they don't consider that drinking, but I digress.
There was a part where he was going back and forth with Andre Harrell, and he was saying, "I'm gonna be drunk and high by Wednesday." I don't know. So I'm like, it seemed like the shift happened quickly when it comes to being introduced into this thing, into this industry. So he's technically he might be a victim as well. I don't know.
I've already said that I believe that he was victimized, and I think it happened long before the industry. People really don't want to look closer into his childhood and to what his mama had going on in that house. God knows what he saw and what happened to him in his own mama house. All of those strangers, them up involved, looking around, seeing what was going on. And let's just be clear, it sounds like her house was a house of, professional freak-offs. So who knows what he saw or what could have happened to him while she was busy entertaining people and pouring and getting tips, as she would say. for her after our life.
Oh yeah. He was. I'm gonna say he was surprised to hear that.
School bus driver. No, was he surprised or was he like, zip it, you talking too much? Because that's what it looked like to me. It looked like you talking a little bit too much. They don't need to know about that. While she was sitting up there, oh, because I was a bus driver and I was this, and I worked at the after hours.
In a deeply revealing interview, Jaguar Wright raises disturbing allegations about how Diddy's behavior may have affected his children. She claims they were exposed to environments no child should ever witness, sparking serious questions about his role as a parent. While much of the public conversation has centered on Diddy's success and influence in the music industry, Wright suggests the most troubling stories are the ones that allegedly unfolded behind closed doors. Her comments prompt an uncomfortable question. What kind of parent allows their children to be around such behavior? And why have these concerns remained largely unspoken until now? 50 Cent's documentary revisits these claims, casting a harsh new light on Diddy's private life and forcing the public to reassess the image of the mogul they thought they knew.